Since its founding in 1998, Google became synonymous with internet searches. With a global search engine market share close to 90%, it dominated the digital ecosystem for decades. In 2023, its search advertising revenue exceeded $175 billion, approximately 57% of Alphabet's total revenue. This PPC, pay-per-click advertising model has been its financial engine. The search algorithm and sponsored links generate the majority of its profits. To reinforce its position, Google created a closed ecosystem that integrates complementary services. Android, its mobile operating system, is installed on the vast majority of smartphones worldwide, ensuring that billions of devices access the search engine as a native application. Similarly, Google Chrome, with approximately 70% market share among desktop browsers, channels web traffic to Google's homepage and search results. YouTube, over 2.5 billion active users, and Google Maps are other cornerstones. Each query on these products can redirect back to the search engine. This virtuous circle of products has facilitated billions of daily queries passing through Google, feeding its advertising inventory and retaining advertisers within its network. Additionally, Google secured strategic agreements to ensure its dominance. The most notable is the contract with Apple to be the default search engine in Safari. Google pays Apple over $26 billion annually for this privilege. This investment is worthwhile because 40% of searches in the US come via Safari, and it also dissuades Apple from developing its own search engine. Google also pre-installs its applications on thousands of Android models and has signed similar contracts with manufacturers, Samsung, LG, to make Chrome and Google Search priority options. Despite growing legal scrutiny, Google maintained a dominant position that resulted in antitrust convictions. For example, in 2023, a U.S. court ruled that Google had engaged in illegal monopolistic practices by tying its search engine to Android and Chrome. Even in 2025, a judge recognized this illegal monopoly in digital searches, although drastic measures such as divesting Chrome or Android were dismissed. In sum, Google managed to sustain its monopoly through an integrated suite of products, Android, Chrome, Maps, YouTube, etc., and agreements that block competition, creating an almost impenetrable ecosystem for advertisers and users for over a decade. In recent years, the competitive landscape has been changing radically. Generative AI, chatbots, and specialized platforms have begun to alter search habits. Tools like ChatGPT, OpenAI, Perplexity AI, or Bing's Chat offer direct answers to user queries, preventing users from clicking on the traditional 10 blue links. ChatGPT, for example, reached 100 million monthly users just 2 months after its launch in 2022. By August 2023, it had around 180 million unique monthly visitors. These conversational competitors were born adapted to synthetic response formats, while Google had to reformulate its interface. TikTok, with its integrated video searches, also adds approximately 3 billion daily queries. Meanwhile, Amazon is moving toward its own search results ecosystem focused on e-commerce. These platforms offer immersive experiences, videos, or direct purchases that increasingly capture user attention, especially among younger generations. This convergence of factors puts pressure on Google's traditional business model. Fewer clicks on links means fewer ad impressions. As noted by industry observers, if Google accelerates toward AI-generated responses, as Gemini does, it would shift from a model that makes money to one that costs money, because automatic summaries reduce advertising clicks. In practice, changes are already perceptible. During the last months of 2024, Google's global search engine share fell below 90%, 89.73% in December, something that hadn't happened since 2015. According to experts, this reflects a gradual migration to other information sources, social networks, niche search engines, or AI assistants. At the same time, regulators are pressuring Google. In the US, antitrust justice forced Google to share search data and allowed competitor entry in Safari. Google itself acknowledged, in 2025, that the arrival of AI offers many more ways to find information, and that competition is intense. In Europe, the shadow of new regulations, such as the Digital Services Act, adds uncertainty. In summary, behavioral changes and the rise of generative AI threaten to slowly erode Google's monopoly, to the point that competition in searches has ceased to be theoretical and become tangible. Faced with this landscape, Google is betting heavily on AI to reinvent itself without sinking its core business. It launched Gemini, rebranding of Bard, in December 2023, a multimodal model capable of processing text, image, audio, video, and code. Google claims that Gemini is more powerful than OpenAI's GPT-4 and integrates it by default in Android and its browser. Sundar Pichai has proclaimed for years that Google is an AI-first company and warns that the transition with AI will be the most profound of our lives. In search specifically, Google created new features. AI summaries, AI overviews, available in the US already reach 1.5 billion users per month. And since 2024, there exists an AI mode that offers only generative responses. Internally, Google has doubled down on investments. It reaffirmed $75 billion in infrastructure projects, data centers, AI chips. The vision is clear. Maintain control of information flow rather than lose it to others. There are also other strategic moves. Google is exploring new interfaces, chat in search, AI plugins, and has begun testing different advertising formats, e.g., sponsored content in voice assistants. On the business side, it continues readjusting distribution agreements. After the 2025 US ruling, Google will continue paying Apple for the Safari position, but without exclusivity. Now Apple can auction that position to Bing, Perplexity, or others, forcing Google to constantly compete for each iOS user. Additionally, it continues incorporating AI into YouTube, e.g. generative shorts, and its advertising platform, attempting to compensate for the decline in clicks with more personalized and effective ads. Different scenarios emerge from these strategies. An optimistic one is that Google manages to combine traditional search with AI, a system where users value assisted summaries and ads continue to perform. Data from April 2025 shows that Google maintained advertising growth. However, the risk is that a radical shift toward AI redistributes the advertising pie. If major brands stop bidding on organic searches because users no longer click, and allocate more budget to social networks or alternative channels, Google could cede part of its historical share. It's already anticipated that the dominant player will lose market share in digital advertising to companies like Meta, Amazon, or AI startups. In the worst case, true disruption could occur. A multiplicity of search engines with different functions, visual, conversational, niche, could fragment the market. In conclusion, Google faces this new era by betting on all-in AI without abandoning its core business. As its CEO said, every technological change is an opportunity to move forward. If it manages to offer AI responses without scaring away advertisers, it could maintain its leadership. But the margin for maneuver is narrow. Success will require converting its model at the speed at which AI evolves. The battle for users and advertisers is open, and the digital ecosystem could be more fragmented when it concludes. Remember, don't be a scammer.